Hey guys, hope you're doing good. Today's training, it's something that has been on my mind for at least 2, 3 months. Okay, I've wanted to create it for my customers because one thing that I've realized that keep most business owners from not scaling is actually not knowing what to do. It's from not knowing what not to do, right? Yesterday I created a little training for our customers for our Monday call where I went over, the rules of on how to manage your days depending on what phase you're at in business. Okay, I covered the phase from 0 to 25K a month, from 25K a month to 50K a month, from 50K a month to 100K a month. Okay, but I also covered what my personal rules are when it comes to managing my days. So if you're someone who's currently running a business, okay, an online business, right, more specifically service-based businesses, and you're between any of the phases that I just mentioned, I recommend watching this video till the end. Okay, I did not have to share this video on YouTube, but for me, I've realized that we're not really an information business. So anything that I can create for my customers, if I end up seeing that it's really valuable, like I'll actually share it with more people at scale, because at the end of the day, you will not do business with me if I have not given you value up front. Okay, so hopefully maybe this is something that can help you scale your business, right, by knowing the 1 to 3 things that you need to focus on, and how you should and what you should actually be ignoring. Okay, yeah, this video is pretty long. We had over 18 customers on the call, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. Bye bye.
So this thing that I was actually still creating it, so I'm not necessarily done creating it, but so we'll like finish it up even on this call. But yeah, let's get into the sauce, the good sauce. All right, cool. So how to make a million a year by simply modifying your schedule. Okay. So the more I grow client acquisition.io, the more I realize that success is just a matter of prioritizing the right inputs and the right actions, right? When it comes to business, like I rarely ever look at someone ahead of me and feel amazed by their accomplishments. Okay. Like let's say I look at Chris Brown creating music. I'm gonna be like, whoa, what the fuck? How is that even possible? Or how can he create all the time something that, how can he create bangers every time? Right. Or maybe you can look at your favorite artist and, look at what they create. And it's always something like, it's something that you cannot explain. You can just feel it. Right. For me, I never really feel that way when it comes to business, because business is just a game of copying those who've been here before us, right? Like if someone makes a million, okay, cool. Like you just did what people have made millions before you did, right? If they make 100, if they make a billion, if they make 10 billion, if they make 100 billion, like it's nothing new, right? Right? Unless you're someone like Elon or Jeff, because at their level of the game, like the game becomes somewhat like art, right? They're just creating from their own vision, and they're not necessarily emphasizing on, you know, on playing the game, the arbitrage game, right? Because most of us, we're really doing arbitrage. We're finding something that's cheap, we're doing it, and we're just selling it at a higher rate, right? Like that's essentially, that's business. It's just leveraging information disadvantages. And let's say I know more than you do, so therefore you want to access my insights, then you're going to pay me, or I can find a VA from the Philippines, pay them $3 an hour, and then place them with someone else, they pay them $6 or $10, and then I just make the difference, right? That's all business is. It's like, well, technically business is just like, hey, no more than the next guy. It could be either through done for you, or it could just be done through consulting, or it could just, well, technically that's really it. It's like if you can know more than someone, you can always make money. And to be honest, that's something that most people don't really try to push. And that's why for me, like when it comes to learning, I can't tell you guys how important it is to, I know a lot of people bash courses and things like that, but it's like, promise you that spending your time an hour a day learning something new is the best hedge that you can do against anything, like against failure. Because I promise you, as long as you're smarter than the next person, you will always figure out a way to make millions. Okay. Now, before I discuss how to manage your day, I'd like to list out the enemies of success in business. Okay. The first one is your phone. Okay, this is like the devil, right? We'll probably put it in red. Social media is the next one. Okay, and something that most people don't really understand, but like family is probably also an enemy, right? And this is something that most people won't really say, but it's like friends and family, they're keeping you broke, in case you haven't noticed, right? This list could be a lot longer, but I just wanted to focus on these three because they are the ones that we all have got to live with, regardless of how we feel about them. Okay. You can't get rid of your phone. You can't get rid of social media. Shit, our businesses are all online, right? So we can't not afford to not be on socials. And we can't really not have friends, and we can't really not have families because, like, we're engineered to need these in our lives, right? We're engineered to be, we're social creatures, right? We need a family, we need to make babies, we need friends to go out, hang out with, maybe drink some tequila and dance a little bit, you know, never know, right? But um, why is your phone the enemy? Well, first of all, the phone, I think for me, what I've the image that I have around the phone is that it's like the gateway that people go through to steal your life, or to bother you, or to literally consume, to literally like take over your life, right? So if you have a phone, that other people have control, or a certain level of control into your life. Okay, why is social media the enemy? Because when you start using socials, it like, you know, they take advantage of our I mean, you know, this engineer, I'm not sure if you guys have read the book called um I forgot the book, but it's a book written by a guy that was working, I think, if I forget what it was. I think it was for like Facebook or Twitter, or anyway, he studied how these social media apps are created to actually make us like become addicted. And you know, these, like, they're triggered between, you know, anyway, I'm not going to go into explaining that, but it's a great book. It's not really the social network. It's damn, I forget what the name is. Actually, I can look it up on my Kindle. I have it right here. Yeah, Hooked. Yeah, if you guys want to check it out, look at Hooked, because you know, it's like once you're in this sauce, you're not getting out, guys, unless you just decide to just get away, right? Um, and why can your friends and family be the enemy? And this is something that I want to emphasize right now, because a lot of people don't really, you know, are not aware of it. But you know, your family is kind of like, it's kind of like, well, it's not like you can just be like, hey, you know what, hey guys, don't bother me anymore, I'm only gonna, you know, I'm only gonna be there when I need you guys. It's like, no, you have to be there for your family. It's family, right? But one of the things that I've realized is that if you don't put a certain limit, a certain like guidelines with your family, or if you don't distance yourself from your family when you need to work, or have them know that you're actually pursuing something greater than even your own lives, even this whole generation, then they're always going to think that they actually like kind of like own a certain part of your life, and it's going to always be detracting from the real thing, which is produce actual stuff, valuable stuff for society, right? So for me, what I like to do with family is that, I'm not even saying that don't necessarily be with your family, but for me, I personally like to create. So I mean, I personally live alone, so like I can kind of like create this distance when I'm at my place. But I also like to literally go at home, go see a family, maybe once a day. Right at the end of the day, I like to go see family, because I also think it's good to actually, you know, detach from work and detach from being a producer, and actually go do something that's unproductive, which is like being with your family, right? But for me, I really like to do it. But like, guys, and especially with, I'm not sure how you guys' family situations are, but there's always family drama going on, and it's so draining. It's literally the most draining thing that I made a tweet the other day. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but I was like, family, the family niche could probably be the most profitable niche ever, because there's always bullshit going on. And to be honest, it's like, it's stuff that shouldn't even be there, but it's there and you can't get rid of it because it's just like humans. It's like, and I was like, yo, imagine, and that's why, maybe you become a therapist or maybe you start like a practice that you could make. I mean, probably I don't know how much money that niche generates every year. I don't know what's the value of the niche of people who deal with, therapists and therapies and all that good stuff, but it's probably $1 billion industry. Maybe I should look into it, but it's like, you can't avoid it. So for me, it's like, figure out a way to create time for it. Don't let it jump into your time. Okay. And the simple truth is that anything can steal your attention from the thing that matter, depending on the phase of your life. Okay. This is also an important thing. I'm not necessarily saying like, hey, don't talk to your family for a whole week and then go see them over the weekend or this and that, or don't be on social media. But because depending on the phase of your life, you will get to a point. I mean, I'll probably get to a point where I don't even want to be productive. I don't want to be producing. I just want to chill. I just want to hang out, family, whatever. Maybe there's a phase in life where that's all you want to do, right? If that's the phase that you want to be in, cool, then full prioritize that. But if you want to be a producer, if you call yourself an entrepreneur, and if you want to actually build a successful business, then guess what? Anything that is not productive, that is not producing value for your customers, for society, growing your brand, then it's an enemy, right? Even if it's something that you like and that you want, okay? So your phone, social media, friends all have the tendency to do that, right? To just get you involved in some stuff that you shouldn't be really involved, right? With you being aware of these, you can choose when to allow them to waste your time versus letting them control your life without knowing it. So it's not necessarily about cutting it out of your life. It's just about choosing when it actually, when it actually does. Okay. So let's go into the, managing your day type thing. So how to take control of your day and how should you manage it? Okay. It is important to understand. This is how I've came to structure my current life after having been through a few stages of growing a business. Okay. I want to start with, the 7-figure stage because that's where I'm at. And then we can go back to, from 0 to 25K, 25K to 50K, 50K to 100K a month. Okay. Because at each phase, like the way that your day should look like should completely be different. Okay. And I know people who are stuck at a specific level within here, not because they don't know how to make 100K a month, but because they don't know how to actually manage their days. Right. And this is why I wanted to have this. I've actually wanted to make this training since like for a few months now, but I never really got down to it. But I really want to emphasize this today. Okay. So yeah, let's get into the current phase. Okay. So for the current phase that I'm in, I have a few rules that I follow. Okay. Rule number 1 is never put more than 3 hard tasks on the calendar. Okay. What does that mean? If I look at my calendar, let me zoom in a little bit. Let's say I want to build something. Okay, let's say this morning I had to build the affiliate thing, right? So actually I should have put it on my calendar like this, right? I will not put, even if I have like 2-3 hours of free time, I will not go and do this. I will not go and do this. Like I'll put 30 minutes of affiliate building and then I'll be like, hey, build a 20-minute audit campaign, or review and get back to customers. I will never do this because there is no way nothing good, nothing great gets created in 30 minutes, right? And this is why sometimes some of you guys may send me something to review and it might take me 24 hours to 48 hours to actually get back to you guys. It's not because I cannot look at what you asked me to look at and give you an answer right away. It's because I'd rather have it be in the right time where I can actually allocate my full attention to giving you the best answer. Okay. So for me, when it comes to my schedule, and by hard task, I mean, things like, let's say building building like a video sales letter, building, or it could even be build a piece of content for YouTube, right? It could be, What else could it be? Could be building a new SOP, right? A process around solving a specific issue. It could be looking into a problem that your customers are experiencing. It could be learning something new, right? I will never put more than 3 hard tasks to get done in a day. The reason why I don't do that is because I know that I cannot complete more than 3 things in a day. It's impossible. Because why? Because you still have your phone, you still have social media, you still have your family, you still have customers, you still have stuff to do. You might have to go to the bank, you might have to go to the gym, you might. So it's like, how do you expect to have 3 hard tasks done in a day? It's impossible, right? And then the other thing that I don't do is, rule number 2 is never mix a day full of calls and a day of building. This is probably the worst thing, and maybe you guys have probably felt it when you're trying to balance a day of calls. Let's say like today I had a few calls. Like a day like this, I will not try to do anything. I will not try to build anything meaningful, because I know that my focus is on a call that I had with the sales team, on a growth team, on a team meeting, on the general support. I have a call with Basha, I have a call with Salim after this. Like, I will not try to mix these, right? Instead, what I will do is I'll literally dedicate whole Monday for it to be a day of just non-focus. I'll just have a bunch of calls whenever people need me, right? But Tuesday, if you guys can see the calendar, there's literally almost like 0 calls, right? The sales training, I'll not show up, but I still have to have it on my calendar because I just want to look at it in case I ever want to show up. But on Tuesdays, it's literally just time for me to build something, right? So wake up at 9 a.m., I build something. I might not show up for this growth team meeting because it's Tuesday. And then, literally the whole day is dedicated to building. And then I also do, time for just taking calls. What this does is that it does wonders, guys. Because one thing that I've noticed is that when let's say if I tell you like, hey, let's say you just signed up in the program and you need to fill up the YU worksheet, you need to build your pieces of content, you need to optimize the profiles, you need to take care of all this stuff. Guess what? You should not try to do that stuff on a day where you have a bunch of calls with customers or a bunch of sales calls. Do you know why? Because your brain state is not meant to be building anything cool. It's not meant to be building anything great. So what ends up happening is that if you try to mix this and this and this and a time for building like this, well, guess what? You'll end up building nothing meaningful because your focus is so dispersed and like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have felt it where you're literally having anxiety because you're like, oh, I should take this sales call, but then I have 15 minutes to do this because I need to get back to this customer. And then, oh my God, I have to get back on this sales call. And then I need to get back on this. No. I've just made the decision that, hey, if it's a day of calls, I'm going to do those calls. And then I'm going to leave the building phase to tomorrow, right? So the way that I've split my schedule is really simple. Mondays, calls. Tuesdays, building. Wednesdays, calls. Thursdays, building. Friday, calls, but also a little bit of building, okay? What this allows me, and also Sunday too, right? Sunday is also a day of building. I do have team meetings, but they don't really disturb my focus that much, right? So I'll wake up on Sunday, I'll wake up probably at like 8:30, 9, and then I'll literally just wake up and go straight to building something, right? And then this allows me to have time for calls to catch up with people, but it also allows me time to actually focus and build an actual company, okay? Because it's not always about making money. It's not always about taking sales calls. It's not always about doing. It's also about building, right? Rule number 3 is first 2 hours of my day is to be allocated to the highest output activity, okay? And this is a non-negotiable. I don't care if the world is ending. I don't care if we're in a recession. I don't care what the hell is going on. I don't even care if like, I don't know, even if there's an alarm going on at home, I'll literally just wake up, maybe go to a coffee shop and just work, right? So if you guys saw here before I added this stuff, this was empty, right? The reason why from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. it's always going to be empty is because this is where like my highest energy, my highest inspiration This is where this is the time, right? Although I said I don't mix building with days of calls, from 9 a.m. or at least the first 2 hours of my day, I will still build something, because I cannot just wait for the next day to work on something meaningful, right? So I'll always have a few stuff that I need to work on. And from 9, the first 2 hours of my day, I'll literally just work on that. And the funny thing is, I literally don't do anything besides, like, I know some people have a morning routine where they're like, wake up, meditate, I don't know, write their goals down and do all that bullshit. For me, I don't really have that. I wake up, go brush my teeth, take a cold shower, drink water, sit down at my desk. And I cannot tell you how much that has changed my life. I don't check social media. I don't care if, I don't even care if you guys have issues. I don't care. Because it's like, if I don't prioritize solving the highest, like and by the way, the highest activity stuff for me right now is the following: build new solutions for the program. What this means is, if I see a customer winning, right? So let's say recently I've seen a lot of people winning from emails, and it has been, annoying me, the fact that it's not included in a done for you process. So I've been having it come back in my mind a lot, where I'm like, okay, fuck, we need to figure out a way to just like we have the VA, just like we have the Loom Creator thing, different, just like we have all the done for you mechanisms. I want to have the email be not necessarily the whole management stuff, but I want the setup to be a done for you process, right? So what I will do, probably like tomorrow or sometimes like from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is, one, I'll get better at this process, right? Understand, look at the customers who are doing it, and then I will build an SOP around it. And then I might even hire someone else to come in and support us on installing these setups for you guys, right? That would be a highest output activity, right? Because if I can do this and it literally changes, because, like, all you guys need to make an extra 20K a month, that's like, 5 new clients. 5 new clients is not a lot of, it doesn't require a lot of output to get 5 new customers in a month, right? So if I can add a new mechanism that can take me, let's say, 2 hours of building, and it changes the whole game for all our customers, that's amazing, right? Another one could be building a marketing asset, right? It could be a YouTube video. It could even be this thing that I'm presenting right now, right? That I can distribute at scale and, have it change beliefs or have it provide value to the marketplace. Another one could be learning, right? Learning is also one of the most, like, I don't even know why people don't understand this, but it's like, some days I will literally wake up and do nothing but just sit down, maybe go for a walk and just learn, listen to a new book, listen to a new podcast, right? Because if I can learn something new, it can change completely my business, right? So that's something that I also like to do. So from 9 a.m. to my first 2 hours of the day, I'll try to focus on the most important thing, right? And of course, this thing will vary, right? Rule number 4 is create space and time to think and acquire new information, regardless of the cost, right? So I just mentioned this briefly, but what I like to do, okay, and to be honest, I don't necessarily schedule this in the calendar, but let's say on Tuesdays, let's say tomorrow around 3 p.m., once I'm done doing whatever I have to do, I might just call it a day and just go out for a walk and put a book in, maybe go for a drive or go for a walk. And I will not feel bad to not be productive in that moment, because I want to take time to go and listen. I want to take time to go think, right? Because one thing that we never notice is that if you're stuck, you don't notice it until you actually acquire new inputs. Okay. So some people may be at a stage where you're like, oh man, I'm doing everything I can. I have a growth team. I have a great offer. I have great content every week. I have all this stuff, but I'm still not experiencing growth. Like, what is happening? Right. And for me, what I like to do is during my week, multiple times a week, I will literally take time to not do anything. And somehow it's during that time that I come up with the best insights or the best strategies to actually to take the business to the next level, right? So one thing that I would suggest to you guys is, make time to not do anything besides acquire new information. And then once you've acquired those new information, remove the audible, remove the podcast from your ears, and just think for yourself, right? And this has also been a game changer for me personally. And one thing that I realized is that if I don't make time if I don't create space and time to think, I will get anxiety from like from feeling like I actually have to do more than I actually need to, right? Us as business owners, one thing that I can guarantee you is whether you're making a million, 10 million, 100 million, a billion, there is also always something that can be improved, right? And the issue with always having something that can be improved is that it creates like stress from wanting to always be better. And us as entrepreneurs, we're trying to level up every time. I mean, making 100 grand is good, but it's like, why can't I make it every day? Right. But that creates an anxiety where you feel like you need to do something when in fact, you don't actually need to do anything. Right. And I can promise you that the people who are always in a rush to build the biggest business all the time, like every month, oh, I want to make more money, more money, more money. The truth is their business won't last more than 5 years. Because I'm not sure if you guys will listen to one of the podcasts that I ended up recommending, but I think it was the Good to Great one. But he said that, no, I think it's actually Chamath who said it. But he said that the faster you grow a business, the faster it also crashes, like it ends essentially. So if you go from a 0 to 100 million in 5 years, so guess what? It will take 5 years for you to go from 100 million to 0, right? So sometimes taking the long way to your destination can also be great, which is something that I have to force myself into doing because I always want to, I'm incentivized to want to make more and more and more, but I want to, add constraints, right? I want to have time to think. And also like I try to do it like every 90 days, I'll actually take a week off, right? And that's also great because it just makes you, gives you time to just relax. Okay. Now, rule number 5 is something that I personally like. Okay. It's work when you feel inspired, don't stick to a schedule. And I think this is a game-changing thing, right? One thing that I've always realized is that I never want to work, or so check this out. One of my best work never comes from necessity. Like I never want to feel like I have to do something, because if I have to do something, then I'm not doing it out of inspiration. And I feel like I don't have any creativity when I'm doing it. So what I like to do is, let's say I might literally let's say come back from the gym at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. and I might just feel inspired to like write something, right? What a lot of people say is that, oh, you know what? You should just work from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever, and then stop work and then relax at the end of the day. No. I don't do that, right? Why should I follow a schedule? If I feel inspired, I will produce. Okay. Now, there's also another thing. If it's Sunday, or if it's Monday, or if it's Tuesday, or if it's Wednesday, and I feel drained, and let's say I have a call with someone or a customer, or feel like I have to do this thing, but I'm not inspired to do it, I will literally be like, hey, I don't want to do it today. I'll do it when I feel like it. Right? What this has allowed me to do is that it allows me to sustain the output and the work, right? Because if you're always forcing yourself, like, oh, sheer willpower, and you're just pushing through everything every time, I promise you that you will burn out. I don't know what burnout feels like, but sometimes you can feel it close nearby, right? You've probably gone through a period of life of your business where you have so much things, especially when things start picking up. You get so many things. You still have to manage your acquisition. You still have to manage fulfillment. You still have to manage all these things. But there's also a whole new other thing that you have to take care of. But for me, at least at the stage that where I'm at right now, it's like work when you feel inspired. If you're not inspired, wait until you feel inspired, right? And it just shows in your delivery. right? I'm sure you guys have probably seen people who are just there. This is recorded, so I'm not necessarily going to be mentioning names, but there was someone who, or I've seen other programs, right? I've seen these support calls from other, gurus, right? And you can literally tell that the person is literally like annoyed. And I'm like, bro, like, why are you fucking taking these calls if you're fucking annoyed? Who told you to fucking consult these people? Just don't do them, And it's like, and it's not fun, It's like, and you guys probably, you guys are part of more of these than I am, but I just saw it once, right? Probably in like 2020 when I jumped in some of the first courses that I've been through. But it's like, I was like, bro, there is no passion in this person's voice. Like, it feels like he shouldn't even be here, right? So for me, I'd rather just be like, hey, you know what? I don't want to build a VSL today. I'll build it tomorrow. And if you're, the reason why you can allow yourself to do it, even if you're not already like making a whole bunch of money, I still think that you should still follow this rule of work when you're inspired, because we're gonna die someday, right? All this Zoom call, this little thing we're having right now, it doesn't fucking matter, to be honest. It doesn't matter. We're just occupying ourselves until we die. And how the ride is we're kind of like, we think it matters, but it doesn't matter. So delaying a day for you to produce is not gonna kill your business, right? Your how you feel about how you feel is more important than even how you feel, right? So you guys really got to think about how you feel a lot, because it's not, I think, because for me, I think that I really have not stopped producing since I literally quit my 9 to 5. And it has not been because I'm so disciplined. I just think that I don't necessarily work like a slave from Monday till Sunday. I might work Monday 2 hours, and then Tuesday I'll work the whole day, and then Wednesday I'm like, you know what, fuck this shit, and then Thursday I'll fucking produce, and then Friday I'm gonna be like, you know what, oh man, I don't know, but I never sacrifice sleep. I try to sleep as much as I can, because I know that it's not how much I can produce in a year, it's how much I can produce in 30 years that matters. So I'll see other people who may be in the same space as me, who are like, they push, but it's like, then they go 3 months and they don't do nothing. I sometimes think people are going out of, I'm like, bro, where are you? 6 months ago, you were competing with me. I don't see any content. I don't see any outreach. I haven't been prospected from your team. What's going on? And I think that the reason that happens is because they allocate so much of their life to their business that it drains them. It removes the fun of fucking building a fucking company and serving people. Once you lose that inspiration, that drive, that hunger of producing, like, I don't even care how much money you promise to make, it's not worth it. You lose the drive. So for me, I create space within my weeks, my months, so that I never lose the hunger. If I don't feel inspired again, I don't work. If I feel inspired, I go back to fucking building. And it's like you're pushing and then you relax and then you're poof, and then it's really great. But yeah, Francesco, you had a question.
Yeah, bro. Good stuff. Good stuff. Honestly, it sounds like you're fucking talking to me, because the past like month or like more, honestly, it's just calls. Like, I'm literally I haven't been producing like so long because it's just been on calls, literally back to back. And I'm doing nothing, but literally working, right? So, actually, I'm not even working because I'm calls. I'm not doing anything.
I
I'm just on
know.
calls. So I'm not really working.
Yeah.
But the thing is, how do you, because I'm trying to have, for example, this guy in my team to take care of, the sales a bit more, to, look after the growth specialist a bit more. So how do you sort of make sure that you can take the time where you literally do nothing but like producing, making content, that sort of stuff, without thinking, oh shit, like, what if, this guy's gonna text me and maybe, we're having issues with the clients, or maybe we're having issues with, growth specialists, or maybe we're having issues with the creative director, or whatever that is, so how do you make sure that that won't happen, when you take that time off? Because honestly, it's been fucking long time. That one made a piece of content in literally long time.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, the number one thing I would suggest is give more responsibilities to your people. You don't have to be the goat. You're probably not the smartest person on your team. So you just find the smartest person, someone who's more accountable, someone who's more dedicated, someone who's more disciplined. Because I'm not the most disciplined person on this team, hell no, from afar, right? And leverage them. Be like, hey, hey, I want to promote you to more of a management position, a management role, and here are the tasks. I'm going to send everybody on the team back to you. You're going to manage them and only bring up stuff that actually need my input. And this is something that I focus on with the team. It's like, because at some point I literally had to have an input on the VA process, on the VSL process, on the outreach, on the systems and the stuff and the offer and the marketing and the outreach message and the sales. And it's like, guys, relax. I'm only human. I cannot do anything. I cannot answer every single question. And it's not needed for me to answer what the VA process should look like. Like what, why? So I was like, hey, Reg, please think for yourself, come up with the strategies we need. Here is the book to read. Here is the operational, understand constraints, understand this, learn this, and systematize everything, improve the operation, improve the throughput, right? And then I do the same thing with Hassan. I'm like, hey man, bro. I cannot consult all these customers myself. Relax, like it's impossible. So you know what to do? Hey, here is how you become better. Here's all the source of the knowledge. Here is this and this. I decentralize the business, right? So right now, what the thing is, I think you have too much on your plate, right?
Yeah, bro, way too much. Like, it's not really. I'm not really making crazy money. It's
Exactly, right?
we hit 5 figures,
So
but I feel like I'm broker than before, bro. Honestly,
yeah, exactly. No, because there is that phase where you think you're busy, but you're really just being busy being broke.
yeah,
You know,
not doing exactly, bro.
you're busy doing
Exactly,
the wrong things, right? So for me,
exactly.
I would ask yourself, hey, what are the stuff that that someone else can do? I would make a list of those, and what are the things that I need to do where I can't just delegate it? Okay, then you allocate time for those things every single week, right? And I would suggest that you do just like I've done, like have specific, not necessarily specific days, but maybe specific time of the day where you only do a thing. Let's say you only take sales calls in this time period, right? And maybe maybe wake up a bit early and block out 2 hours of your time to only work on building the business, right? And then make sure you always have consistently meetings with your team, meaning dedicate time to communicate. Because if you don't have meetings with your people, they're always going to be asking the wrong things or doing some dumb shit, when in fact, like, that could have been solved on a quick meeting. Or install a better process, like, hey, maybe send looms instead of wanting to get on a call with me, right? Or before you actually try to ask me a question, ask yourself, hey, how would you go about solving it? Provide me with an answer of how you think would be the best solution before I give you my solution. This is actually a great thing, because sometimes people ask dumb questions, or unnecessary questions. It's like, hey, how should I do this? I'm like, couldn't you really think of how you could do it? Is it really worth my time telling you? No, it's like, no, tell me what you think is the best solution, and I'll just approve it or disapprove it. If I disapprove it, I'll give you a better one.
And what about like incentives? Like, how do you, for example, you mentioned you get someone to, manage a bit more things or whatever. Like, how do you pay them? Like, in my case, for example, again, like, bro,
if you don't have money, just give them profit share. So tell them, hey,
I mean,
you'll be, well, it's not, so you're not promising them. So if people really like you, like working with you, they're not in it for the money, man. And this is something that people, of course, I'm not saying incentives is not important, because it's probably more important than anybody thinks so. But I think that if you can just tell people, hey, I need you to step up a little bit so I can actually focus my time on something that's more productive, they will understand it. Because I could be taking the sales calls, right? I could be doing the outreach myself, right? But if I don't delegate it, then we're never going to grow. So you go and talk to your team. Hey guys, my current time use is crazy and it's not efficient. So moving forward, I'm going to need a bit more people to step up. Okay. So what I need you guys to do, here are the tasks that need to be delegated. I need everyone to pick what they feel like they could take care of, because it's a team. You know, if a team can't step up without making more money, then that's not your team. That's just, those are just employees, right? So you got to treat them as a team. If you treat them as a team, they're going to be understanding and go above and beyond without necessarily making more money.
Mm.
Because if you always more money, well, Jesus Christ, how are you going to be profitable? Because everything you ask them, you're going to have to pay them more. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no business in that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate you, man.
Yeah, cool. So let's go back to, Reno. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe I can add, Francisco, maybe everyone as well. As you guys know, or some of you guys know, I'm new part of the Serge team. So I'm the newest person there. I've worked with many entrepreneurs doing 7 figures, 8 figures, some of them even 9. And when I look at how they conduct themselves in the business, most of the time, it's very quick, fast, and up to the point. There's no real interaction with the person. So even the entrepreneurs making such amount of money in their business, when we do like consultation with them, it's like straight to the point. Hey, what you're doing here? What are you working on? Okay, great. See you on the next call, next month or so. It's once a month, but everything is fast, 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 and fast. And you don't have a real interaction of knowing the person, knowing their team, what their team struggles with, or what the team is good at, or what are aspiration of every person on the team that would like maybe to ascend or so in the company. You don't know that. So when you're thinking about yourself and your team, try to build that relationship with them to understand them more in depth on the fundamentals of your business. And based on that, you can kind of see, okay, this person has this skill. Let me maybe send them to another department in the business, or how can I leverage that person in a better manner? Okay, it's not only you seeing that, but if everyone has a better communication, then other team members will also say, hey, I kind of see that person is very good at something. Can we use him for something else? So you start changing ideas, and with that exchange of ideas, you grow. So for me, working in this company, eventually you kind of get fed up of every single day. It has to be running, running, running. You want to build something more meaningful that makes a difference in people's companies or lives. You don't only want to just run around putting checklists and everything. So
Exactly.
that is from my perspective, working with those type of entrepreneurs, making such big figures. That is what I can share with you. Start building from the ground up as a small company and grow like that, because then you will have a solid team that backs you up, even going to the extent if something happens to you financially, they will back you up financially as well. It can go as far as that.
Appreciate, man.
Yeah. Yeah, your team is going to be everything too. And I think it's a crazy emphasis, but I think for me, even when I hire people, I really tell them 2 things. It's like, one, communication. So like, always communicate with me, whatever is happening with, in your life in general. I don't just want you to just say, hey, I feel good or this. No, if you have your family, if you have some family drama going on, communicate it, whatever. So that I know that what's happening within, your current production, because you see when people are not productive, right? And then the other thing is, don't wait for me to create, right? Like if you see something that can be improved, please go ahead, because it's just literally like art. We're literally building something from nothing. We're literally like it's like a painting. You're just throwing shit at the wall, and somehow it ends up being cool, somehow it doesn't. But I'd rather have people who are more creative and who can just just like, there's nothing more fun than having other people come in and just throw things into the business, throw things into the mix, and have like, whoa, this is insane. But if you never encourage them or motivate them to be like, to step up and to share their ideas, then guess what? You're always going to be the bottleneck. Everybody's going to be reliant on you, and like, oh, Francesco, this. Oh, Francesco, what should we do? Well, hey, Francesco, oh, this is a message. Oh, Francesco, this is the outreach prospect. Oh, this is the VSL. Which should, no, come on, bro. Like, no, can't do that. No way. It's not a life. I don't want to live that kind of life, So push your team to elevate, right? But let's go over this last thing, right? So while Francesco was talking about his current meetings, but check this out. So I'll try to go back to like July, right? Or let's go back to when I was taking calls before. So if you guys look at this, like this was me before, well, in May I was building the program, so I never really, so this was me before, right? This was my calendar before. I had just, I didn't have any structure, right? And this is the worst thing that you can do, is not having structure in your life, right? Not knowing when you wake up, not knowing what you do, right? But check this out. When things is not, and this is also another lesson around time. If things are not blocked on your calendar, they're not going to get done, right? So if I don't come in every morning or the night before and build out the thing that needs to get done, I will literally not do it, right? So for me, like, and this is why I personally think I wasn't really doing much revenues, because my time was all over the place, right? So I would take sales calls here, I would take sales calls here, I would take sales calls here, and it never really led me anywhere, right? Although I did try to do a few things, but this is the calendar. I think I was making anywhere from what, 20 to 30K a month, maybe at most 30, 40K, 45. But if you guys see here, my focus was selling, right? My focus wasn't building anything, right? But let's go into the actual, so different phase. From 0 to 25K a month. Now, I can't just give you rules to follow just like this, because the rules have to be dependent on what your main goals are, or what are the main priorities for someone who's between 0 to 25K a month. So we got to start with that. So for someone who's below 25K a month, what are the things that matters? 1 second. What is an example of something that would matter for someone who's below 25K a month? If you guys can
Outreach,
write it in the chat.
Like you said, appointments, maybe.
Okay, perfect.
That's really important.
Yeah, appointment setting. That's one. What would be another one?
Building content.
Content. Yeah. What would be another one?
Building audience.
Building an audience. Cool. What would be another one?
Training BAs.
Yes. Any other
Service delivery.
Service delivery.
Did you say
Hopping
SOP?
on sales calls, maybe.
Repeat that. Above 1% at a time.
I was saying SOPs, maybe SOPs for everything. So building
building systems.
Yep, and I said like hopping on sales calls, maybe.
Hopping on sales calls.
or maybe getting better at sales.
Yeah, sales training. Okay, cool. So all this stuff is great, but to be honest, it's too much. You can't do all this stuff from zero. Like you as an entrepreneur, you cannot focus on all these things in a single phase. So for me, what I always try to do is really simple. I pick 3 of the most important activities out of all the activities that could be done, right? And for me personally, I think from 0 to 25K a month is booking more meetings, content plus audience. I think they go together, and then selling.
But one thing as well, you know, when it comes to booking meetings, there's a lot of stuff that goes to booking meetings. So what would you say you should something that you'd focus on?
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Great one. Yeah, great. So for booking more meetings, it's really simple. It's offer, outreach team, plus right channel. If you got these things down, so you have a great offer, you have an outreach team, you're not doing outreach yourself, forget about that. Right channel, content, and and let's say from the effort of the outreach team, you're building an audience as you go, and you become good at selling. Like making 25K a month, you can literally even make it in a day if you have these things. Great. If you have these three things. Now, from you knowing what your top priorities are, guess what? You build your rules, right? So what I would do is do something like this. Well, rule number one would be first 2 hours of the day is on outreach. There's nothing that has more valuable, like there's nothing more valuable than doing this at this current stage in your business. Okay, there's literally like you can even have, I don't even know how I can express it, but your attention should be solely on, hey, how can I get more people on meetings? Okay, this is it, right? Because I promise you, what you focus on grows. If you're never focused on looking at your foundational sheet, if you never focus on understanding how your VAs or your growth team are doing and how they feel about what they're doing, and if they're actually feeling confident in their role, guess what? You will never improve it, right? And this is not something that you can delegate. Even till today, like I'll jump on a growth team meeting and be like, hey guys, like what the hell is going on, right? And I'll be like, hey guys, let's do this, let's improve this, let's launch LinkedIn, let's launch this, because I still need to be present. Because something about business is like, if you don't pay attention to it, it's not going to be great. Especially like you can't delegate this to anyone. You can't delegate your success, right? You can get people to do things, but like they're not going to improve, okay? Unless they're like incentivized in the actual, their compensation is aligned with the growth of your company. Rule number two could be, so you guys saw how let's say on my calendar, let's say if we go back to today, oops, so month, year, so what day are we? June 27th. So let's say let's say the next one would be like, hey, you guys see here, I have like content piece, okay? You would have to allocate time for that too. So allocate 30 minutes to an hour to build a piece of content, okay? At least, I would say minimum 3 times a week. Because guess what? These are the main core things. And the reason why I want to be building content is because you're not going to be able to sell a lot if people are not warmed up enough. So the content is like, so it goes from here. We book a meeting, we send them to the content or they consume it, and then they book a call with us, right? And if they don't buy right now, then they're going back to the content that we are going to be spamming them with, and then they're going to be warmed up over time, and then they're going to come back and buy, okay? So these are the most important things, right? Rule number 3, spend time becoming great at selling, right? And this could be, learn from the greats. Go check out, Hormozy's videos. He has like an hour free training on YouTube. He has a closing framework. You can go into checking out, some of the training that Hassan is doing, right? He's become pretty great at the sales stuff because he's been selling a lot lately. maybe access some of the more assets that we have, or like just look around, just figure out how to sell. Because guess what? You're not going to go from 0 to 25K a month if you can't close at least 30% of all your sales calls, right? Because it's going to be hard if you just rely on more and more and more meetings, right? You can stick at 10% closing, right? That's going to be great, but figure out how to become great at selling. And for me personally, I think it's just following a specific process, giving people the right payment plan, okay? And making sure you're solving something that is really painful for the prospect, right? I personally think that if you're not selling something that it's really painful for a prospect, like it's going to be hard to consistently make sales, right? So as an example, for us, we solve appointment setting, right? Is it because that's the only thing I could solve right now? No, it's not. But why do we focus on that? Because if someone doesn't have meetings, they don't have a business. If someone wants to build a business, but they don't know how to book meetings, their life is going to be in shambles. They're literally going to be depressed, right? So we solve depression essentially. And that's how you can make money. You can solve depression. You can make money. So ask yourselves too, what is the thing that if my prospect can't live without, what is the thing that they can't live without? Solve for that. Okay. Yeah, you had a question, Celine.
I was just gonna ask if you're gonna share this doc in the Discord.
Yeah, I'll share it. Don't worry. Yeah. But yeah, guys, this is great. This is great. Solve something that they can't live without. That's not. But for me personally, I think these 3 rules should be great, right? And again, you see that you're gonna need to dedicate time to think and learn. You don't do this. Work when you feel inspired, because you don't have time to be inspired, man. You need money. You need money to even like eat food. So like, I wouldn't necessarily suggest you guys like, yeah, forget about this bullshit. This is just for people who just, who you just think they're too good. But so don't do that right now. Right now, what we need to do is stack money in your bank, get you guys your confidence up, feeling great, feeling like you can do it, right? And to be honest, rule number 4 at this level is always have goals that are way bigger than you think you can achieve, right? And this has nothing to do with your days, but like, I think this is a must, right? During your day, because what I used to do back in like 2021, let's say between the first 4 months of the year, I literally would go for walks and I had recorded. So I have these voice memos in my phone, right? Where in October of 2020, I was like, hey, I'll make 10K a month. And back then I was having a hard time making 2.5K a month, right? And I would listen to that on my walk every day, right? So morning, wake up, go for a walk, listen to that voice note, right? And then when I was making 10K a month, I was like, you know what? I need to be making, I don't know, like 50 grand a month. Even if I was like, how do I actually make even 50 G's a month? That's like impossible, right? And then when I got to 40K, I was like, you know what? Let's just skip to 100K a month, right? And then when I got to like 70K, I was aiming for $250,000 per month. So it's like, my goals have never been linear. Like, I don't want to, like, if you guys think that you just need the growth of like, oh, I'll just add 20% to my goals, no way. It's going to be way too hard for you to get there, right? So I always try to like, aim for probably even 10 times what I'm currently achieving, because then it gets me thinking a bit differently, right? Now from 25K to 50K a month, this is where things change a little bit, right? Because now you've proven that you can sell. You've probably proven the offer. You've probably proven everything, right? Now, and I'll answer this. I'm not going to ask you guys right now what the priorities are, but priorities are same thing. It's just that at a different level. Book more meetings, close more deals. This is it, right? And of course, content, right? Now, what I would suggest doing, let's say your days, your rules for your days should be like, hey, rule number 1, I need a growth team, right? I need to allocate 2 hours each day on improving my growth team performance, right? And facilitating their success, right? And by the way, a growth team is not, when I, at this point, I'm not, when I say growth team, I'm not just saying like, hey, just growth specialists. I'm just saying like even VAs, right? Because some VAs become amazing at the thing, right? And the reason why we want to allocate even more time is because we have proven that we can go from 0 to 25K a month, right? So now your time should be really allocated on hiring more people to do the thing that got you. So like if you're doing 5 times some, like if you're doing 5x, or if you're doing a certain activity 10 times and it's giving you $100, when you figure out how to make $100, you don't just stay there. You're like, how can I make 1,000? And to make 1,000, you're going to need to 10 times a certain amount of input, right? So at this level, all you need to do is hire more specialists, hire more appointment setters, okay? Rule number 2, delegated sales, right? So now you're going to need to hire, so learn, hire people, hire a closer, right? And learn, make time to improve their skill set. What does that mean? That means that instead of having, let's say right now, let's say if I was making 25K to 50K a month, my focus here would be completely different. It would be sales call review with Hassan, right? I wouldn't make it 2 hours. I'll probably make it like 45 minutes, right? And then I would do something like this. And then I would do something like, hey, review growth team campaign and launch a new initiative or channel or VSL or I don't know, anything that can make their lives easier, right? And guess what? I would make these things repeat every single day, right? Because it's the highest thing that you can be doing right now, because there's nothing more, like you should not be reading a book. You don't need to be smarter right now, right? Like I go through phases where I don't want new information because man, what have I done with what I already got? You probably know people who are way dumber than you, but who are making way more. You know why? Because they're not stuck trying to be smart. They're stuck trying to be trying to produce, right? It's good to be smart, but it's like, hey man, like, you know, gas in a fucking 663S ain't cheap, you know? So it's like, I need money to pay for that shit. You know, I don't need to, I don't want to go to the gas station and be like, hey man, you know what? I'm pretty great at building VSLs. I'm pretty great at sales. I'm pretty great at outreach. I'm be like, hey guys, like, no, okay, cool, whatever, good for you, bro. But you need money, right? So what you do is you focus on this thing, right? And then rule number 3 is just, you know, make time for content, right? Make time for content. I mean, to be honest, this will never change. I think even if you're making 100 million, you need to be building content. So this is like an evergreen rule, regardless of where you're at. And so yeah, that's it. Now, there's something that here I forgot, but operations. Ooh. Yeah, this becomes a bit tricky. You can't just focus on making more money. You actually need to figure out on how to fulfill. Now, the way that I think that you become better at fulfillment, at least how I've done it, is I've looked around, right? I've looked at other people's businesses. Okay, that's the number one thing, right? I've read books around, you know, just like operations, like understanding systems, right? That has been an amazing thing for me. But the thing, to be honest, I have like 2 years of customer service experience. So if you can, go become a customer service rep, right? Or figure out a way to hire someone with that kind of experience. Because I promise you, if you don't know how to treat your customers well, you will never scale, right? And by this, I mean, just make time for it, right? Make time to become better at fulfillment. I would suggest allocate, you know, 3 to 5 hours per week to become better at it, right? And this could just be like, you know, how to get customers results faster. So you would look at all your customers and make time to really gain depth into knowing how to deliver results. Because some of you guys know that some of your customers are getting better results than others, but you guys are just sitting back and just chilling and just waiting for, thinking that it's always going to be, you know, sunshine and rainbows. I promise you, if you're not going to be able to duplicate what you've achieved for one customer to the rest, they're all going to leave. And unless you think you can make millions from just one customer, well, you better wake up now, because you need to fulfill for everyone, right? The standard needs to be allocated to everyone, right? So that's about it. Now from 50K to 100K. This one is funny, but I think that to go from 50K to 100K is probably going to take you, it's going to take you 5 times the size of everything. What I mean by this is, operationally, you need to be able to sustain 5x the throughput. I don't know if that's how you write it. Meetings, you need 5x the size of your current growth team, of your current acquisition team. Sales, to be honest, you may need 1 or 2 people, maybe 1 for discovery plus closing, right? For us, we've been able to do it just with 1 person. So it's doable for sure with 1 person. And then content, 5x too. 5x your output, right? So here, to be honest, the people who are making 100K a month don't have anything better than you do, to be honest. Like they're not any smarter than the person who's doing 0 to 25K a month. They're just doing it 4 times more, right? And this is the secret that not many people tell you, but and to be honest, it's normal that it's hard for you guys for anyone to go from 0 to 25K a month, because this is the hardest thing. To go from 50K to 100K, oh my God, it's oh my God. It's like, you could even ask a kid at the daycare, hey, you have 1 apple and you need a second apple. How many more apples do you need? Oh, I need 1 more apple. That's literally it. That's how easy it is to grow a business. Once you've figured out the right business unit economics, once you figure out the right offer, once you figure out the right acquisition, once you figure out all that stuff, then here, your rules are this. Market your business and the roles available, right? hire more people. And for me, what I was doing is I would build like hiring via sales, and I'd promote every day. I would literally promote more for hiring than I would for my own clients, because this is what I need. I need people on my team. I need more bodies on the team. Okay. And then rule number 2 is increase communication. Make time to communicate with your team daily. Set up SOPs for communication, right? So what I mean by this is like, you should get your team to share what they're working on every single day. Like you shouldn't wait. They shouldn't just wait for you to tell them what's going on, for you to ask them what's going on, for them to communicate with you, because that's too inefficient. That's too much friction. So things get lost, right? So, so make time for that. Maybe ask them to make looms, right? At the beginning of each day or at the end of each day, okay? And then rule number 3 that you should be focusing on your days is, make time to review everyone's work. This is a crucial period of your business life because things start messing up, right? And if you don't make time, right, to review all these people's work that you're hiring, to make sure that they're communicating, to make sure that your operation, that your clients are happy, then you're going to go back to 10K a month. So, but for me right now, I think that from between 50K and 100K is just focus on hiring more people, right? Increase communication, make time to review everyone's work. What this does is that improves your team's experience as well as your customers. And this is how you scale. It's not just keeping your customers happy, it's keeping your team happy. And guess what? The only way you keep your team happy is if you actually communicate with them and keep them accountable and help them. If they did well, make time to congratulate them on their work. If they did bullshit, make time to be like, hey, what the hell is going on, right? And then just repeat that thing until you can hire someone else to do it for you, right? But for me, these are really the phases that I've really been focusing on. But for me, like really, this is it. So not sure if it helps, but depending on where you're at, just know what you need to be focusing on. Okay, cool. Yeah, if anyone has any question, let me know.
Yep, I do, Serge. For like, yeah, so for 0 to 25K, so you said that the first 2 hours like should go in on managing the outreach stuff, right? Yeah, so for me right now, like I don't know what like what can I do in 2 hours, but for me, like what I do, like in terms of managing the outreach, I just hop on a call with my growth team and I just see like what they did like the previous day, the like the convos and stuff like that. So yeah, like is there anything else that I should be doing?
Well, if you have time, do outreach yourself or follow up with people.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And like also really I thank you just for you're just simplifying this stuff, and like because like people outside the program might be thinking that Serge is teaching some secret strategy and stuff like that, but we are here just like learning the basics and the boring stuff. So yeah, thanks for that, man.
Yeah, it's the simple stuff, man. It's like I think most people are selling shiny stuff because that's what sells, but it's like business is just a set of steps. Like it's not I mean, especially of course at some point it gets really complex, but beginning stages you only need to focus on a few things. That's it. But content has been one of the things that most people don't talk about. And even Nick Cosman I was in his Telegram yesterday, and he was like, oh yeah, you need money to go on YouTube. I'm like, what? That's stupid. Because the reason why I'm even in this Telegram was not because, or the reason why I would even be tempted to even buy into your service is not because of your ads. It's not because of I saw a crazy copy, and then I was like, oh my God, this guy's smart. No, I looked at your free content on YouTube and I was like, wow, this guy is good. So, but I think that happens at any level. Like, I don't think you need to wait till you're making money to be on YouTube. And for me, it's like I'm speaking from money. Like, it's not like I'm just saying some shit that I'm just saying it to say it. No, it's like I've seen the results. Like, I've seen YouTube literally convert more fucking money than the growth team. Like, that's how fucking crazy it is. So when I say be a YouTuber, like, please make time to be on YouTube, and your life will change. And it's so much less effort, but yeah, anyway, cool. Any last few questions?
I had a question about the videos that we post, like the content that we're supposed to post on Facebook. So would it be better to post videos on YouTube and kind of just share the link over to Facebook, or should we kind of like dedicate videos to Facebook?
No, I personally do it on YouTube and then repost it on also. So it depends. Sometimes it's best to just, because people, it's when you put them on YouTube, when you send them to YouTube, it's kind of add the friction. So sometimes I'll just make one video, put it on YouTube, and then don't upload it to also on Facebook. But it depends. It's like, if you have time, upload it on Facebook. It's just better. It's a better experience for that person. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, but please make sure you're choosing what distracts you, especially with your phone, man.
I was going to ask you as well, Serge, about sales calls.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific time that you would put in sales calls in the day? Because at the moment, like, obviously, yeah, you said something that's very, very important, because at the moment sales calls are everywhere, or calls are literally everywhere during the day, so it's no really like massive structure.
Yeah.
So would you say you have like a certain like time during the day every day to have your sales calls? Say from 12 to 5, only sales calls are allowed to be booked in.
Yeah, but I would be mindful of like the people that I'm trying to reach out to.
That's what I'm saying as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's a bit tricky, but I still think you can or like figure out a way to make it work. Because let's say right now you're in Europe. Let's say you're 6 hours ahead of like people from the States or Canada.
More likely to book a time between 6 p.m. plus. That's what I'm saying. So it'll be after our work times.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely going to need to be taking calls after 8, or at least between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. You need time there to allocate to sales calls. Now, for me, what I would do if I was you, I would like block out the first 2 hours. So I think right now you're in Ireland?
Ireland, yeah.
Yeah. I'll block out like 2 hours of my day, Ireland time, focus on anything outreach, focus on anything business-wise. And then from like 10 a.m. to like probably like 12:30, I'll allocate it to sales calls. Okay. And then from 12:30 to like 3 p.m., I would block it out, just to work on something else. So some other bullshit that will come up through the day. And then I'll open up the gates for sales calls again after from like 4 p.m. to like 8. Because you want to also have time for any from each time zone.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't just be like one work block, because one work block is great if you're like Hormozy, people figure out a way to get in that work block. But it's like, if you don't command authority, and if you're not having a lot of demand, then you can't really make it hard for people to book a call. Yeah, that's what I would do. Cool. All right. Any last questions? I have a call right now. Cool. So, hi Sam. Yeah, once this call is going to be uploaded, I'm going to share the doc on Discord, and then I'm probably going to take a segment of it and put it on YouTube too. So that I think it's great, free, good value that most people can benefit from. But yeah, thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for staying till the end. Let's go make some money. It's Monday. Yeah. Bye bye.